not going away. We were told when we went wet that it would take 3 to 5 years for the county to replace that revenue with alcohol sales. But we had to start it at some point or we were going to be without revenue. So we chose to start it before the in lieu of tax actually ran out, primarily because you can't get good restaurants if you don't sell alcohol just the way it is. You're not going to get an O'Charlie's or an Applebee's or whoever to come out here on the interstate if they can't sell alcohol. So we passed that tax. Now we earmarked that tax, and I think Commissioner Headley had the resolution. That money that comes in off of the alcohol tax is going to restriping on county roads. We've had some criticism for that. People say, why you restripe a road that has potholes all in it? And the reason that we did that is that we have so many kids learning to drive and so many older people that have a hard time seeing at night, they couldn't see where the road was. So we put the money is earmarked for road striping, and it's being used every month to stripe county roads.
Okay, so it did not go to help the sheriff's department?
No, ma'am. And it's $300,000
wondered.
last year.
I
About
probably should
300.
have known, but I didn't.
About 300,000 last year came in off the alcohol tax. That's not collected at the stores. That's collected from the distributor, and it's a certain number of cents per can.
Oh, they can pick up some cans on the road. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I too was concerned about property tax, my property tax coming up. Would you repeat what you said at the first of the meeting about property tax, who pays it?
25% of the people of the county actually pay property tax.
And who are they?
They're the homeowners and the landowners in the county.
Okay, what did you say about retirees?
I said the retirees, I said our money is going down because we're having more retirees and disabilities than we have new homes. So once you retire, you get some level based on your income of a homestead exemption. And in our county, because we're a low-income county, most retirees are getting some, if not all, of their property tax deducted from a homestead.
I misunderstood what you said. I thought what you said when you first stated it, the retirees wouldn't pay it.
No, I said because of the fact that we have so many retirees, and so many of those retirees qualify, and maybe I didn't say it right, but because so many of those retirees qualify for a deduction in their in their tax through the homestead exemption, which qualifies a disabled person and a retiree person. And I'm not sure of all these things, but I think it's based on income, and it's only
Exactly.
for your
Based on the
homestead.
line of adjusted income on your 1040.
Right, exactly.
Retirees,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry if I misunderstood what you said there.
But we have so many older people that make a low enough level income that they're getting a vast majority of their homestead property tax exempted.
I agree with that. I just misunderstood what you
Okay.
said when you first
I'm
stated
sorry, I didn't speak clearly
Can
enough.
I add something on that, Mr.
Please.
Chairman? On his question, excuse me, I'm not gonna speak for Tim, but when I asked him about this, if you're over 65 and make less than 12.5, you're exempt. And if you're on disability, you're exempt. But don't shoot me over with that. I got my information for Tim.
And that's just, on that disability, that's just one person in the family.
One person.
The wife can be on disability and the husband still works, but you still get exempt.
And there's
Something-
loopholes.
Something else that is significant to any of you who are interested. Doesn't matter if you're in Chilton County or any county in the state of Alabama. If you live in a mobile home, your mobile home is not taxed like a stick-built home. So you have a sticker. How many is the sticker?
$35.
Okay, so if I go to Clayton Homes and I buy a triple wide 3,000 square foot home that costs $160,000, my tax liability on that home is $35 plus the assessed value of the dirt. So I'm going to pay $125 to $160 a year to live in a $160,000 home. My neighbor can build a $160,000 stick-built home on the same piece of ground with the same acreage, and he's gonna pay about $750 a year for arguably a lesser house. So what we have is, we have a lot, and hey, I'm glad people have a way to live in Chilton County. I'm not knocking mobile homes, but I personally believe a mobile home needs to be assessed like an automobile, where you pay your taxes based off of your bill of sale, and then it's depreciated out over years. Because what we have is the stick-built homeowners are paying the vast majority of the taxes in the county.
And can I add to that? Because I've been on the phone with some people from Lee County this week. That, the state mandated deal, the fee, and it hadn't been, got a raise in over 16 years. So it's been like this for nearly 20 years.
So we don't have an inspector that inspects the stickers, because we can't produce enough revenue off the stickers to pay for the inspector. Any more questions, concerns?
Mine's kind of two parts, and this is, maybe I'm missing the whole deal, but I'm wondering, how much did you say this should bring in, this facility?
The facility,
As far as in
somewhere
County?
between 68 and $200 million a year of sales that we would be collecting, depending on how we set up this area. And the reason I say that is there's a lot of things on the table right now, but if you've ever shopped at Bass Pro Shop in Prattville, they have a fee associated with shopping there, and there may be a fee associated with the actual park itself. So that's it, part of this negotiation of how we're going to get payback. But we don't know how much of that we're going to be able to keep.
Okay, even on that point right there, and this is what I think a lot of people is wondering here. We're putting money into this, right? How is this going to benefit us back, as far as we're going to come down the road and say later on we're going to need more taxes to do this or do this for the roads? I mean, is this going to help us as far as county-wide?
It should, because if it works out on the most successful spectrum of what we're being told, your tax that you're going to pay today is going to generate right at $4 million for the county. 7-8 years from now, when this thing meets maximum capacity and starts doing what it's projected to do, it could generate an excess that's equivalent to doubling what we have today. So where you're going to pay a $4.1 million or $4 million tax today as residents of Chilton County, people from out of the state, out of the county, are going to pay another $4 million over the next 7 years if we do our job of retaining that money that they're going to spend here rather than letting it go to Watauga and Shelby County. So without changing anything you pay, if we grow this facility, it'll go from $4 million to $8 million, and that'll help. That money is going to be spent in three places: economic development, which is creating jobs any way we can; public safety, which is sheriff, fire, and jail; and infrastructure, which is roads, bridges, internet, sewage.
Those things that you just said right there. In other words, it's going to save us later on down the road from paying taxes to get what you're just saying. This what this
It's
should
going
pay
to
for.
double what you're paying without you having to pay anymore.
That's what I'm trying.
Yes,
the point
sir.
I'm trying to get to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's the projections, and that's why we're doing it. This is an investment in the future of Chilton County. Now, I want to say this now. It's important that everybody understands this. We cannot capture all of that money if we don't do our job of growing retail. And you know what? Chilton County can't do a whole lot about that. That's predominantly the city of Clanton and the city of Jemison that are established, that's going to be responsible for growing that retail.
Okay. The second part is I'm going to give you a little warning too.
Okay.
I've been to most of these facilities. I've been to Perry. We rodeo a lot, and I've been to all the way from Texas to Wyoming, staying at these places, same type facilities. You can make a facility like that and it'd be grand and all like that, But if you don't run it to accommodate those people, and I mean accommodate them, it's gonna die. I know right now the Palomino World Show is looking for another place to go right now. I know the Arabian World Show, they're in Tunica. They're looking for another place. A lot of these places are coming and looking, and they heard about this. And I know I've heard talk as a deal. But if the reason they're leaving, wanting to leave these places, it's the same reason that you need to really emphasize on making this accommodation friendly to the people that are coming in.
That's what our concept that our IDB has put together is a walking friendly facility with friendly parking, and what we're hoping to do is grow retail next door so that you can walk down a path without leaving that facility in your truck with your trailer behind you and go eat, and have places for your wife and kids to go to stores and shop and all while you're in between events from walking distance of the facility.
But what I'm trying to get to, another thing is too, is it's not the deals around it, it's the infrastructure itself. Like Montgomery, they run out of hookups down there for the horse show down there.
If I may address that,
Yeah,
I think in the plan, the scope of things is to be 400 RV parkings and 400 stables for the horses, if I ain't mistaken.
Right.
Is that correct?
but what I'm trying to get at is Montgomery, like I said, they run out, okay? Well, they charge a guy for running his own generator down there. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, don't nickel dime
Right.
people
Well,
to death.
the IDB board also hired, no, Alpha's hired, not Alpha.
Alpha's already hired somebody that is experienced in what you're saying here in San Antonio, livestock, that whole facility.
Right, I've been there too.
And so they are trying their best to go and recruit from throughout the country to stack that team so that what you're saying happens. That
So-
they have the first class facility, and that they make sure that when people come to Clanton, Alabama, or Chilton County, Alabama, they leave very happy and ready.
Yeah, the facility, you can have the best facility in the world if you ain't got the
You don't have the
personnel.
right herd people.
You know,
So,
that's the
so
main thing I'm
they've
talking
gone and
about.
hired what they think is one of the best people available.
Yeah,
San Antonio Stock Show is huge, and he was the head guy there. And they're putting a lot of emphasis. We talk a lot about Georgia, but really the model is Grand Isle, Nebraska, because they learned from all the mistakes Georgia made, and that's kind of which we're trying to get I say we're. The IDB's got a group of people that are going to go as soon as it gets warm enough to go up there without freezing and see one of their events and how it functions. But they're the newest and the most successful. And I think the guy that is doing the master plan for the Farmers Federation is the guy that developed the Grand Isle facility in Nebraska.
I'll tell you, Shaw's deal, you knew what you were going to, but I'll tell you one thing that probably would help you in the long run is talk to some of the association and ask them why they want to leave these other, because you know, they're at Tunica right now. Tunica's got a good, nice facility, really nice. Why they want to leave? So that would help you down the road,
Yeah.
to try to curb something before it ever happens.
No doubt.
But the main thing is, getting back to the first part, is just wondering how this money is gonna help. Cause we don't wanna come down and say, we got all this money, and all like that, then hit us again with the tax later on down the road.
Well, I can't tell you that we're going to fix all the road problems in this county, but I can tell you that there's enough money going to be generated here that you'll be able to see a difference, and you'll be able to see it soon. If this tax passes, and we believe that it will, if this tax passes, we'll start collection in the beginning of the third quarter of this year. So we have the potential to raise almost $2 million this year, and that money is the commission's money to spend in these earmarked ways. And then, we're talking about possibly starting construction late fall, maybe next spring, but they want to, my understanding is they would love to be up, functional, and operational by August of '21, which means that we got to get some dirt moving pretty quick. But they also said that if they were able to have a ribbon cutting there and had some things well underway by then, they wouldn't call that a failure. So the goal is to be running by August of '21. That's not very far away.
So this tax is basically going just for this, or is it still going some for the county? And
It'll be a
roads and
very
food?
small amount of this tax that'll go to that facility, is my understanding, if any, and we've not been asked for anything yet.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I want to reiterate, moving away from this right here, because I want to really not, let's just focus on this facility. I mean, the hype of it, the numbers, what it can bring us, I'm good with that. I'm excited about it too. But the problem at hand that I've seen in the last 15 years in this county is we have done nothing to increase revenue to facilitate just what we already have. Our roads are 40 years old and 30 years old. There were still some of you guys, you were babies when you were riding. No offense, when you were riding with your mothers on these roads, that the asphalt's there. All we have done is put a little asphalt in a hole. We've patched here and we patched there. You can't patch for so much. I mean, when I get 70 years old, you can't patch me but so much and drive over me.
I know my road looks like it's got measles.
That's
on
what I'm
it now.
saying.
We've
So
got more
I don't want to
patch
get.
than we
I don't
have
want to move.
asphalt.
I don't want to move away from the problem at hand. If we did not have this facility coming, okay, I'm just going to be. My goal as commissioner was to try to help create revenue. Okay, if we didn't have this facility coming. Because we've got to take it. I talked to a man in Shelby County, and I asked him what makes Shelby County Shelby County. Because Shelby County takes care of itself. We can't rely on the state of Alabama to take care of us. They got enough problems of their own that they're trying to fix themselves. We have to pay for what we ride on, is my thing. And I spent $1,600 just 2 months ago rebuilding the front end of a brand new Dodge of mine. I got to do another one on a 2014. I'm in the same boat. I'm not just a commissioner. I'm a citizen too that pays taxes, that's self-employed. But what I'm saying is, even though I'm excited about that, I don't want to move away from what's at hand here. We've got a problem that has to be addressed, no matter if they build a Taj Mahal out there and put a beach and put Hawaii out there. You know what I mean? We've got to be at hand of what we're responsible for. Hey, listen, everybody in this room is responsible for that. Ain't none of it here. If you pay taxes, you're responsible for it. If you drive, you're responsible for it. And that's why when I was addressing this, and I've caught the devil about this. I've had people talk about my poor dead mama, but she's good with that because she's in heaven. But my understanding, what I can't grasp, is that we have. Some people, not y'all, I ain't gonna say nobody here, has complained about this 1 cent sales tax for the roads and everything. When I'm thinking, well, what are we gonna do? I'll tell you what we can do. We could say, you know what? Let's don't pay anything, and then 10 years from now, we'll go. Only thing we need to invest in now is some dozers and pull up all the asphalt, and we'll just drive on the state roads. And I mean that in a smart way. I'm just saying it's time that we do something. I mean, because we can sit there. The definition of insanity is keep on doing the same thing and expect a different result.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm very passionate about this and about this bill, because the fact of the matter is, this commission has a hard enough time getting scrutinized. Every commissioner up here gets scrutinized because of the roads. I live in the city. And I own property in the county. But I still care about the county roads. You know what I mean? I still care about who pays for them. We got to do our part no matter what comes out there. So I don't want to think that this bill is just initially because we have that. But you know what? We get that. There's a gold mine. Everybody get on board, and everything's gonna be good lucky charm.
It's not going to fix all of our problems.
But I tell you what, it's gonna do.
It's gonna help though,
It's
right?
It's gonna make us responsible for what we own, which is this county. Just like you said, you was born in this county and raised in this county. It's going to make us responsible for what we pay, and it's only fair for everybody. Who don't want to pay their part? Who don't want somebody to pay their part? If you don't want to pay your part here, then why are we here? You know what I mean?
You know, there has been some discussion about the possibility of President Trump doing an infrastructure bill, and I've had some people approach me and say, "What does that mean for Chilton County? Why are we doing this if there's going to be federal money available?" My understanding from the little bit of time that I've spent in D.C. talking to the reps up there is that Trump's infrastructure money, and he said this on TV, is going to be based in you being willing to invest in yourself. So whatever the federal government does, and they've talked a lot about helping local communities, there's none of that money going to be available without some matching funds. And guys, every dime we have hey, we may have a few places we could cut a little bit of waste, but I'm telling you, the little bit of waste we cut, if we cut it all, wouldn't pave 2 miles of road. And this group spends the better part of 6 meetings every year working on budgets, and we go through line item by line item. And this one's the worst one. He's painful to do a budget with. He wants an answer for every penny. And you're going to sit here until he's satisfied that every penny has been accounted for. And guys, if you got a need for 25 million and you've got 16 million, you got to cut that pie in smaller pieces, and everybody gets less than they need. And the result is the sheriff's got 2 deputies on duty at night, and he can only pay guys 14, 16, depending on how long they've been there, dollars an hour to run towards somebody who's shooting at them. Every meeting we have, he comes in here with a list. People that's resigned and new hires. And what we do it with the road department, we do it with the sheriff's department, is Chilton County is a training ground for municipalities and other counties because we don't pay enough to maintain them. People say, well, we need better motor grader operators. We're training motor graders operators every day, and they leaving us to go work for somebody for double what we're paying. The municipalities around here are paying way more, even in our county, way more than we can pay our sheriff's deputies. There's not enough money. The sheriff and the road department, they get cut harder than anybody come budget time because they have so many employees. If you got somebody with three people on their payroll and they come in and they ease another $1,000 into a line item for salaries, they can go in there and they can give everybody a little bit of money. The sheriff comes in here, and how many of you have, Sheriff? 70 people. You give any of those a little bit of raise, and you're up to 100 grand just like that. You know, so he gets skipped about 4 or 5 years in a row at times. You know, somebody else may be inching in a little bit and it not get noticed because it's just a few dollars. But if the sheriff or the road department wants raises for their guys, I mean, it just cuts the bottom out of your budget.
Can I add to that, Mr. Chairman?
Please.
The police, John and I, the sheriff, I'm sorry, talked today, and what a lot of people, I think, get confused, and I do also at times, when his guys make $30,000 a year, and I'm just using that as a number, with their family health insurance they have to pay if they want it. When his guys that make $30,000 go in a store, they don't sell him a loaf of bread no cheaper than they do for a guy that makes $100. And so we're a training ground, and if we don't stop it, again, everybody sitting in those chairs pay because we can't take care of our citizenry.
You know, Jimmy's right with what he said earlier. With or without this ag center, we've got to do something. There's no question.
We're out of options.
We're out of options.
Well, and that's the point I'm trying to make. This bill right here that you're trying to pass will jumpstart, including the ag center.
It will.
And it should help later down the road
It
as
should.
far as, well, we need more money for police or whatever. We ain't got to throw more taxes on it.
Right.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
That's the hope, but, you know, there's a couple things that we need to point out, and then I'm going to back away and quit talking so much.
I'm going to say that.
But people have asked, and I think we need to address this, why didn't we vote on this tax? All right, if you guys will remember, the county got sued over the hospital tax. And the reason we got sued over the hospital tax was that there were changes made. There were 2 bills introduced in the same legislative session. The first bill had a binding resolution in it. That means that that tax was dependent on a majority of the voters passing that tax. And we found out from that a binding resolution on a sales tax is unconstitutional. You have to have a vote for a property tax, but if you have a vote on a sales tax, all that is a poll. That means nothing. It has no weight. So if you tie the law to the vote, you've wasted $30,000 of taxpayers' money, and that's about what it costs to have a special election. So when we went back and fixed it, and we had a second resolution passed by this group, sent to Montgomery, that made that sales tax effective with a non-binding resolution. The governor at Bentley at the time wrote on the bottom of the bill, "This bill supersedes the previous bill," after it had passed the House and Senate. And because he wrote that one sentence on the bottom of the bill before he signed it, it made our advertisement illegal because we didn't advertise it exactly like it was signed into law. But so we got sued over that. So that got fixed in this legislative session. It hadn't been signed by the governor yet. But what we learned from that nobody has ever known is that a sales tax voted on by the people is unconstitutional. So I think that's pertinent for everybody to know that has that question.
And if you had to do a poll right now of the people of Chilton County, there's 26,000 registered voters out of 44,000. That blows my mind, just in the least. That the other 20 don't care, I guess, but I don't know. But if you done a poll of who would pass a 1 cent sales tax, it would get voted down by the people. You believe that? Why is that? But we will complain about our roads. We'll complain about our public safety. We'll complain because we don't have a new Walmart down there, but we won't do anything about it. That's the definition of insanity.
We had the nice lady in the back. If you will, come on up. If we had the nice lady in the back ask earlier about accountability for this money.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, you hold our rear ends accountable at the poll. Because if we're not doing the best job you can do, please put somebody else up here. Because I'm telling you, if there are more qualified people, and they may be, we need to encourage them to serve in government. This county needs and deserves the best leadership it can get.
I agree.
And people that don't mind making tough decisions.
Your hair fall out.
I was told by one of our state senators that under the law, the nature of the tax depends on if it's voted on or not. Not just plain sales tax, it's the nature of the tax.
Right. Whether it's an ad valorem.
So if it's a property or sales tax for a specific project, that requires a vote. If you're saying it's going in the general fund, it does not.
That's right.
You're saying it's going in the general fund, but you got to earmark for 3 things. That sounds specialized to me.
No, it's not specialized because we have not in any.
It's just a matter of technicality.
It's a matter of opening yourself up to prepare yourself for something
For a vote that might fail.
That might happen in the future.
Okay.
And if
You
our
know-
vote failed, let me ask you a question, because you're very concerned about this.
All right, here's my concern. I want to get it out in the open because I've been here.
I
for
know,
two
I
of
wanna
these
hear
meetings. Okay. It's not the tax. It's the way the tax was thrown all of a sudden, like this was an emergency, and this has been talked about and been planning since at least April of last year.
No, sir.
Well, it's been
What do you mean,
talked
no?
about, but we didn't have the.
The
project.
tax?
No, the
Okay.
project.
Oh, you said the project.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you said the tax. I was going to say no, sir. But
Okay.
the project was kicked around, I guess, sometime. But we were informed.
But we weren't selected for the
Yeah,
project.
we weren't
until
selected for the
February of
project.
This year. So,
Early February, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Whitney, that we made the cut, and we did this in late February.
But my problem was with the urgency and the last minute and just springing it on everybody one night. There was no discussion.
Well, there's a
We're
conversation.
doing all this afterwards, which we can voice our opinions. You can say
Yes,
we
sir.
can vote you out. It'll be too late.
You're 100% right with what you're saying.
Right now, we're just griping because there's nothing we can do about it.
But we need to hear.
What would you like to do about it? That's my question for you.
Give it to a vote. I told you that in Jemison.
So you wanted to see it voted down is what you want to see.
I wanted to put it to vote. It's not
And
up to me.
let me
how
ask you
people
this.
Vote.
Let me
It's
ask
not
you-
up to you how people vote.
You're right. Let me ask you a
But
question.
you know what's going to happen if they do.
Okay, so if we put it to a vote and let the people vote for it, and they vote it down, what's the next suggestion?
That's your job.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, so what is my job to do to create revenue for this county
Yes.
the best way I can?
Most responsible way.
Most responsible way. All right, so I've studied. So in other words, we need to go into garbage business, right? That'd be some money we can
Well, no,
revenue.
you said you don't want to do that because it's going to take away.
Wait a minute now.
garbage
I'm just-
businesses. You said
I'm-
it was that in Jemison.
That's why I said I took
Right.
that off the table.
Right.
Remember I told you that? So if we can't do that, so let's see what else we can do. Because let me tell you something. I've thought about this the whole time. I I'm not up here to get reelected or elected, okay? I'm up here to do what I think is best for us as a whole, this county as a whole. Because my family also lives here. Like I said, I want to reiterate that I'm still a citizen here, no matter what that name says or what it says about a title. Titles don't mean nothing to me. What it means to me is us going forward with this county that we haven't done, okay? And that's taken away from nobody. But if we don't do anything and pay our part, what is next? And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but it sounds like to me that you need to run for county commission.
No.
Yes. Yes, because I don't have the other answers that you're looking for. You know what I mean?
Because when I get in there, I'll be stuck with this bond that can't nobody pay for.
What bond?
It's coming 35 years.
That's not a bond.
35 years, it will be.
No, it's not. We haven't been asked for that, but I'm saying, sir, and with all due respect, what is next? What do we do?
I don't know, I'm scared.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know, don't pay the bills. And I don't know, don't put asphalt on it. And I don't know, don't put people's, protect people's lives. Your family, my family. I know you got kids. I know everybody here's got kids and grandkids. So what do we do?
I mean, we're at a point, I'm going to ask Alan to interject here because I may get these numbers wrong. Our air conditioners in the courthouse didn't work last summer,
And they're not working hard.
and they're already about to stop. Y'all got some preliminary numbers
here's
last
what-
year of changing the air conditioners on in the courthouse. Wasn't that $250,000 to change it? $350,000 to change the air conditioners in the courthouse. Where's that money gonna come from?
Where's the other 200,000 for the roof?
Where are the other 6 deputies per shift at least that the sheriff's department needs? Where's that money gonna come from? County Road 15 going to Isabella High School. Kids drive it every day and 29 leaving there. Those roads are horribly unsafe. County Road 37, we passed a resolution in one of our last meetings to pave County Road 37 from 22 to the Talga County line, and our engineer sat right there and told us how many years would it take to save the money to do it? 10 years, 9 years to pave that little portion based on what our money availability is today, and there's nothing that's going to increase that. And what I told you at the beginning of the meeting is in 13 we could have paved that road for half what it cost us now. So if we don't do something now, and we turn around here in 23, and it costs $800,000 a mile, where are we? I mean, we've got to start replacing the tires on the car, or we're not going to be able to get to work.
Didn't you say with the gas tax and the rules, some rules they passed, it lowered that cost per mile?
It does not lower the cost per mile, but it takes away some of the ecological studies, the historical studies, the endangered species studies, and the state oversight engineering that we have to take out of the money that they give to us to pave the road. It reduces it, yes, in essence it does.
And at $900,000, may say $1 million, you can pave 10 miles at $98,000.
We paved the Little John Road, the county paved the Little